All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm here with the winner of Beast Mode Circuit Series 6, Stang0, who happens to be the pupil. And in this case, you were a master because you just won a tournament after we got third place at the first ever Gladiators of Edison, the 3v3 online tournament with me, you, and a true hero. So we've been on a fucking roll because I won Beast Mode Circuit Series 5, then we got third place at the 3v3, and now you just won the next Beast Mode tournament. So you're going to be the person that takes the crown from me and reigns for another week. And I think that is fucking awesome. And yeah, I'm glad to have you on here. So I want to talk to you about this because you ended up playing Black Wings, which is a big switch from you were playing zombies, then you switched to frogs, and now you play Black Wings. And I'm wondering what went into that decision.
So what I was mainly looking for when I was coming to play Black Wings, I just got finished with the Beast Mode tournament, as we've already mentioned previously here. Not Beast Mode tournament, the 3v3.
Yep.
And I was just kind of looking for just a deck to just kind of fuck around with. So I already had Black Wings in mind, and then Fraser actually messaged our group chat just pretty much saying like, "Hey y'all, Beast Mode, weekly happening." And I was like, "All right, you know what? I'll enter it because I was going to play Black Wings and I was just going to kind of chill and play." It ended up being a lot more fruitful than just a chill and play session, so that was always good.
Okay, so this is your actual deck list. And I want to make sure I pulled this up before we go any further. I just realized that it would be kind of crazy to show people the replay without at least first seeing the deck list. So this is what it looks like. You played Vinny Casella's list from the PS5 tournament, right?
Correct. Yeah, pretty much. It has. It's funny. I said it in the not the group chat, but the chat of for the Beast Mode tournaments. I was just like, yeah, I played Vinny Casella's list. I only made a few modifications. Here I find out, looking back at it, I actually made a lot of modifications.
Yeah, because I don't see Econ at all.
Yeah, I for me, like Econ with Black Wings, like, I like Econ in a lot of different decks. For me, I was like, I don't really know if I like Econ too much. I think what I ended up doing is that I have to really look at the list myself. I guess I'm just going to compare so I can actually get my mental imaging here.
I see a main deck Devastation Virus, which I do not think he played.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious of as well.
Yeah,
and I don't think he did either.
I know he played 2 Vayu. I'm not sure about double Bora. I feel like he might have been on triple Bora. But I do know Brain Control, Mind Control were in the main deck for sure. And as people are going to see in this replay segment, Mind Control is just a dirty card.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, so he was definitely on triple Bora. Econ was in there. Yep. Yeah, it looks like mainly for the main deck, I just took out 1 Bora, 1 Econ. I put in that deck Devastation Virus.
Did he play Mirror Force? Because you're not playing Mirror Force right here.
I took out Mirror Force actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of not playing Mirror Force. I don't really like that card too much. It's interesting because I play Mirror Force in my Frog deck because it is a mass removal card, and frogs can get pressured pretty hard. But I think that decks that consistently have a monster on the field and a big field presence don't necessarily need something like that because they can break the board really easily. Black Wings can break boards really easily.
Yeah, like they can make 6-star Stinkers, which destroy boards. Gale destroys many boards by himself. Icarus. Yeah, Black Wings have a lot of outs to like widespread boards. I definitely agree with you where frogs can get a little overwhelmed, and generally if they're not set up, they kind of only have 1 play per turn, which sometimes isn't enough to clear a really aggressive board.
Yep. What's also cool is that people were talking about Black Wings declining or whatever, which is just not factually true. Like, not even just my opinion, but if you look at all of the past tournaments that have happened in the last, like, I don't know, let's take any stretch, 3 months, there have been plenty of Black Wing decks doing well and topping tournaments all across Edison format. And yeah, I just think that it was cool that in the same week that I released the State of Black Wings, which happened, I released that video before you won, but I released the State of the Black Wing deck. And then here you are playing Black Wings, unbeknownst to me. I did not know that you were going to be playing Black Wings. I fully thought that you were going to be playing Frogs for this. But you played Black Wings, and you went all the way. And that's really, really cool to see because it shows your growth as a player. And I was in California at the 250th YCS. So I told everybody in the Discord, I was like, hey, BeastMode Circuit Series 6 is happening. Sign up's just open because I got the notification on my phone. And I was like, good luck. And you, OG, and Fiend all entered, all three people who are also in the house. And you're the one who took it all. And you actually had to go through one of our team members, which is cool too. So
Yeah, I mean, when it came to entering the Beast Mode tournament, it was really I was just going to kind of enter it for fun because the history of me and Black Wings. It's actually kind of funny, and Fraser knows this all too well, especially when I was kind of starting out. And it's probably still the same for the most part. Maybe I just was playing really good or got lucky that day. Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
yeah.
But I think it's me and Black Wings. We did not jive when I tried playing that deck.
No, you did not. I specifically called you one of the worst Blackwing players I've ever seen. Like, I was so distraught watching you try to play it. There was a day where you were just dueling like you normally do, and I think we were just watching, and you were doing the craziest shit, or you would send me a replay, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, everything you did was wrong. Like, literally every single thing. So now you're out here winning tournaments. Mind you, the bracket for this tournament, just to be clear, the people who were in this tournament are actually
sweet.
No, it's not. That's what I think people might not understand, why I think that these tournaments are actually a pretty big deal. You're not playing against like DB randos here. You're playing against some of the best players in the Edison online community. That is just a fact. In fact, let me see if I can find the bracket for this.
Yeah, no, it feels nice to look at format library and I got my name there. Congrats on a win,
Yes, that
it's
is
cool.
that is fucking amazing. So here we go. We got you versus D2 round one, then you versus Rawneck, literally one of the best players in the entire format. Then you versus our teammate Fiend, who was playing Glad Beast, and then you versus Gapsy, Gappies. I don't know how you say that, but yeah, I recognize a lot of the names that are in here. Mr. Sultai, literally in the IMNerdpodcast Discord server. Hydro Pump, also in the IMNerdpodcast Discord server, and a really good player in Edison format. Zico, another name that I recognize and know to be a good player in the format. So there's a couple. Ghost Rider here. I think he's mostly known for goats apparently, but also I think I played against Ghost Rider. I feel like, or we played against Ghost Rider in the 3v3. So
yeah, that sounds like a familiar name.
yes, so a lot of good players in this tournament, 20 players total. But yeah, let's get into it without further ado. So let's see what's going on here. So I like that this guy says want to start Battlefield. Stang0 is one of the best melee players to ever have played the game. And when he said want to start Battlefield here, that's kind of an inside joke if you know about Smash, because Battlefield is literally one of the I guess it's a neutral stage in Smash. In Melee?
Yeah, it's actually funny because the game is involved more and more, which is not really neutral, but like it's considered that even playing field that people just be like, all right, let's not strike stages, let's just go to Battlefield. That sound cool? Cool.
And would you say nah DL here? What's that mean?
Dreamland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so you lose the die roll and you have dust shoot, which is always kind of annoying, right? Because this would basically be an auto win if you went first, just because dust shoot is that powerful going first. You just flip it instantly and you get the perfect information, and it usually leads to an easy clap. So things can go wrong if you draw this card going second against certain decks, like if it's GBs and they just summon, set a bunch, or Hero Beat can do the same thing, or any deck that can just like commit to the field so much that they don't have a hand. It's not many decks anymore that do that. I think all of the S tier decks pretty much have a hand enough to be dust shooted after they take one turn, but it is still just one of those things where it's strongest, obviously going first, and you happen to draw it going second. So, all right, your opponent just sets Hamster. It looks like he's on some kind of cat deck, summon cat good.
Yep.
All right, so you summon Sirocco here and attack. So you went Sirocco instead of Shura, and you have Kalut as well in your hand. So Shura theoretically would be anything backed by this, but what made you, do you remember like what made you go Sirocco?
So my decision making is that I'm thinking in terms of the format, the most common set is generally going to be a Raikou. A recruiter could be possible with like zombies and stuff like that, but having just like a 2000 beater on the board is like what I just kind of value, just because if it is Shura, because I did think about Hamster.
Yeah.
But I drew Shura, and honestly, when I looked at my hand, and I don't know if you really agree, but I personally, this is what I was thinking. I looked at my hand, I was like, my hand kind of sucks. It doesn't really have much defense. It just has a Kalut and like Gale for follow up.
Yeah.
Like I don't have many traps and stuff. So I want my Shura to like be live.
Yes, I get that. Because Shura with this hand can beat anything in a game.
Right. So it's like I'm kind of like holding the Shura almost as like a swing back,
Yeah,
where
a
it's like I
crackback.
don't want to
Okay.
throw Shura into a Raiko and then like my next turn is like summon Sirocco
Right,
into
because
like
if you throw this out and it's a Raiko, then your hand is just these four. And don't get me wrong, I love Sirocco with
they're
Gale.
strong. They're really strong, but I think in the context of my hand, they're not very good. Like if I had traps like Icarus and stuff like that,
Right.
I'd be like in there.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Oh shit! Your opponent
Oh,
ends up going to
so
get
he did
Arabella.
this, and I was so surprised. I was just like, "Damn! Like you're really
I
because
would be
obviously."
scared.
So when you attack Hamster, you're like, okay, there's a lot of decks that play Hamster. So
Right.
like, I don't really know what you're on.
Right.
So I was just gonna pass when he goes like set Raiko. I was like, okay, I'm gonna set Dust Shoot and pass, and I'm gonna hold the Dust Shoot. Hopefully, he
And
goes after the back
yes, that
row.
is 100% correct. Look at you.
So when he goes there, I'm like, oh, you're trying to be ignorant. So
Yeah, this is one of the scariest things that this is aggressive as hell.
yeah, so I end up going
Going
Special
dark end.
Gale. Yeah, I'm gonna go Dark End Scent
Yeah,
because
no
I'm like,
shit.
I'm not trying to have any of that.
Yeah. And you're like, now I want to see because I don't like what you just did. I don't like it. So you flip this shit. You don't wait at all. You're like, I'm flipping this immediately because I need to see what the hell you thought was okay about that.
Yeah, so here's a few things here when I thought about this Dust Shoot. I sent back the DD Warrior Lady for 2 reasons. Mainly because the way he outs my board is a 2-card combo with Smashing Ground and Arabellum, which I'm
Right.
fine with because he has to use 2 cards to get rid of my 1. And also, this keeps Dark Arm being live off the top here if I don't get DD Warrior later banished. So that's why I decided to send her back.
Right. So I think looking at this hand and making a snap decision here, I probably would have sent back Arabellum because I don't want him to get the Smashing Ground, which is going to trade with this, and then a +1 when this attacks directly, because it could
Yep.
theoretically hit the Shura, and you really, really want the Shura right here. If he doesn't hit the Shura, you're in a really strong position. I mean, you're in a good position no matter what, because he also doesn't have any defense, but like, I just really want this to go through. Now, here's the interesting
Right.
part, though. If you leave the DD War Lady, he goes Smashing Ground, summon DD War Lady, attack. This hand is kind of awkward against that.
Yeah, it does really poor against it. I don't know if I thought that far into terms of like if DD Warrior hits the field and I end up attacking
Right.
into it.
Yeah, because that's
but I
awkward if
think
you look at it. He goes Smashing Ground, summon her, attack, and pass. Like this is not very good against that. You have to go summon Sirocco, attack, and then they both get banished. Because you still want to keep this in your hand theoretically.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
So smashing Arabellum, which is obvious. You
And
knew
I
this was
think he
going to
does
happen.
actually hit the shore here, which is really unfortunate. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you draw a Bora and you decide, I'm going to hold the Sirocco and the Kalut. I'm just going to put the Bora out there. And I guess I'm fine with this. Like, I don't mind you holding this. Would I have gotten aggressive here? You know his hand has brain control Kaya, so I guess you can't. You actually
You
can't get too
can't. Yeah,
aggressive.
I thought about doing it, but I was like, all right, brain control Caius outs that field, and then I
Yep.
have no ways to out Caius unless I draw
Yep.
another Blackwing. Yeah.
Man, this is such an ignorant combo too. We always talk about this. This breaks up any board in the game. Like this is
Yeah.
literally. I
That's
don't care
3
what
monsters.
yes.
That can take down 3 monsters, which is ridiculous.
Yep, so you keep swinging. Now you have double Kalut, which is insane. So
yeah,
finally
we're
commits
starting
the
to get
field.
close to a win condition.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, he decides I'm not going to lure you. Rip a blizzard. This is great positioning for you. This is a -1. Also, you went +1 on top of that. So not only is this a -1, but you know, this is just free. So now you have 6 cards to your opponent's 4. He's going to draw to 5, but you still know about brain control Caius.
Yep.
Yep, and that's
And
exactly where
so
this is
what I
going.
end up doing here is that he goes for Caius, and I actually choose not to bottomless it because I have to direct out my hand.
Yeah, you can easily, you know, deal with it.
Yeah.
Assuming that he hasn't drawn a back row, and you okay, MST, you didn't need it, but here's MST. So now you're in a strong position because you still have bottomless and brain control's gone. So there's no like summon monster brain control attack for game now. Like you're pretty insulated, I would say.
You go smashing.
And I just noticed it's getting solemn. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's actually yeah, Gale's gone. I was gonna say this is game, but Gale's gone.
Correct. Yeah. We had to use
You also did not attack, so you were afraid of Gores, it looks like right there.
Yeah, and I was just like, if I do get so next turn, next turn I don't care about Gores because I go summon Blizzard, attack with the 2 small guys, he drops Gores, I make Goyo.
Yeah.
And then here I'm at the point where it's like, all right, well, if he has something to stop this, then I lose. So I'm good with it. He gives me life, which I'm really happy about. And then, Mirror Force is still a card here, and 21 is exact lethal. So I just go put my Goyo, which is the more valuable target, attack for game.
Blackwing cards are just stronger than most other decks cards. Okay, your hand is really good again. Jesus.
It's a good going second because you can see 3 cards from your draw and then 2 with Allure, and then I have Icarus for all the back row that he was kind of playing last game.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so usually when this happens to me, like I don't mind burning a Collude here. If you kept the second value in, I don't know how you sided because Dueling Book doesn't show that, but if you have another value in your deck, I typically go Collude here and then value attacks the attacks the Ryko. So they don't have anything on the field, which is a position they have to be in. And then their Ryko has to, because you have 3 traps, their Ryko has to choose what it's going to pop. I really don't care. They're probably just going to pop Shura, and then I get to set 3 traps because I'm not afraid of anything really. And I have Icarus, Bottomless, Solemn, so it's not much that can actually beat the value if that's what they left on the field. And on top of all of this, you have Blizzard too. So like this will be gone, but then he won't have a field at all, and you can set these with impunity. Alternatively, you can set Icarus attack and the Icarus in the draw phase or whatever, and let's see how this plays out. So you do set Icarus attack, right? So you went for that route, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yep, he ends up going for the back row, which is, it's the same difference in this instance. So, yep. So I think he hits Solemn, Bottomless.
Okay, commits really hard to the back row here. So traps them Book of Moon. Oh.
Cannot believe he didn't book this.
Yeah, I would have booked it before it got this far.
Yeah.
And then I imagine Summon Cat. Oh, yeah, he has this too.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go Summon Cat, make Cataster.
Right.
And then attack Goyo and then attack directly. And then he could.
Yeah, so this game, so I was in call and I was like, can I get Dark Arm off the top one time?
This is rude.
And this is who came back.
This is so fucking rude.
A little bit incorrect banish target. I should have did Blizzard because I can't bring that back.
Yeah, that's
just
definitely
a very minor thing.
That is definitely incorrect in case you needed to make a 5-star.
Yep. We do the monster. So the reason I did the monster first, which I guess is pretty self-explanatory, is that, I want to guarantee that I get all, damage in if I can. And if he ends up like chaining Book or something to it, which I don't know why he wouldn't,
Yeah. So
I don't know why he would do that, but
so looking at this game, this particular game could have been played a lot better and a lot differently. I think that it would have been more correct to use the Collude on the hamster to kill the hamster, get your value out the deck, or even if you had to get like a Collude out the deck or a Gale, whatever you get, right? But I assume there's a value in the deck because you play 2, and I don't believe in really sliding out my engine. So you attack the face down Ryko with it, and then he can't pop any of your 3 back row. So then you just like commit your 3 to the back row. And at the time, he did not have Heavy Storm. And even if he did, you had the Solemn for it anyway. And what that does, it insulates you. So his next play is like, what are you going to do? Summon DD War Lady or Airbellum, or are you going to set? If you set too much, you get Icarus attacked. So he can't because he ended up going summon Airbellum, do Trap Stun.
Like Trap Stun Book, yeah.
Right, but you can't really commit that hard if I have Icarus attack, and you just get ruined by that. So, but the Dark Arm definitely came through and saved the day. All right, let's move on to the next one. So let me pull up round 2.
Yeah, I think what it was, maybe my line of thinking, and maybe you have an opinion on this. I think what it was is that obviously I can't see what he ends up setting before I have to decide to collude or not. Let me double check. What's the defense on Airbellum? Am I crazy? Okay, he's 200. You know what it was? I think I was thinking about like, does Airbellum have a big butt? So I don't know if summoning Vayu is good enough, and I don't really want to use my Gale or a Collude here to attack over it. Is I think what I came down to, but that's definitely just wrong. Seeing how that game played out,
yeah, because the
definitely
Ryko,
doing the Collude, yeah,
because the Ryko causes more problems when you have that many traps. I think in general, my hand is that trap heavy, and I don't want Raiko to be sniping. Like he could snipe the Solemn, right? And that would just be really annoying. And then you have to deal with Caius follow up because you don't know what he has. But any deck that plays Raiko and Hamster is playing Caius, so that's like one thing. And I just don't want to be devastated by the Raiko Caius combo right there. Like that's really obnoxious. And if I'm going to Icarus attack, and you just against decks that play Arabellum, I don't feel comfortable putting myself in a situation where I'll ever have an open field. So I get why you did it, because you were like, I want the Raiko to target my background, I'm going to chain Icarus. But that's still not good card advantage for you, because you lost 2 cards, the Shura and the Icarus attack, and you went second. So your opponent has a natural like half of a +1 basically, but then they only used Hamster so far, right? And you Icarus attacked, basically you just Icarus attacked Hamster. So you end up going down cards, and then they get an Arabellum attack. So you ended up like basically losing the game on turn 2, but then you rip Dark Arm, and like
I got really lucky out of that game.
Literally could not deal with that, and that sometimes it'd be like that. But that game could have been a lot closer. I don't know if you would have. I mean, I guess you would have won if you. Yeah,
because if I drew Dark Arm in the same spot, but I would have had so much more back row.
Yeah, you would have had Solemn and Icarus and Bottomless, depending on what he.
Well, I wouldn't have Solemn because he would have heavied at the same spot.
Right. But he would have just lost to you having all.
I would have had Icarus and Bottomless likely. So
yeah, it'd have been really bad because his hand couldn't deal with Dark Arm no matter how you drew it. So, all right. Against
Roggy Knock, the Frog Man,
the King of Frogs. Okay, so you opened up a decent hand at Whirlwind, Oppression, nothing too crazy. Not a bunch of broken ass 1-ofs in your hand like to start it off, just straight up 3 1-ofs right here. Nothing crazy. And he's on rants. This, I don't know. I guess it's the first time I've ever seen this guy not play frogs, but this doesn't look like a frog deck right now.
No, this is frogs. Okay. It's like a frog fusion deck. Essentially what it's trying to do is that sphere that you see in his hand, that 5-star.
Yep.
Yeah, you like tribute over it and you search a monster out of your deck, which I think is King of the Swamp or some shit. And then you get Poly, and then he makes things. It's a bunch of random stuff.
So he's going for the old gotcha. We've seen this played multiple times. I've done it, you've done it. But you have Icarus, which is the best answer to this.
Yep.
Oh, so good. You got him to commit another card too. Wow.
Yeah, there's no worry in our hood.
Yeah, I'm surprised though, because I have to imagine he would know that you're on right here, Icarus attack. Like I would just assume if my opponent summoned value and attacked me instead of back row, like I'm assuming it's Icarus attack. But I guess he's like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that seemed a very lackadaisical.
Yeah, it just seemed like
option to me.
The Caius plays so well into Icarus. I don't think you have. I think if he just goes Gore's attack, you still go Icarus, but he gets to keep the Caius. Granted, his hand is very tribute summon heavy. See, are you sure this is frogs? This is a rant.
No, it's frogs. He does summon a frog, I think, at one point.
Okay.
At one point.
Well, your hand is getting more and more out of hand. So here's where fully is like, okay, now you're just.
This is where things get nice.
Yep. So you're like,
so I have, Dark Arm is live right now.
You're like, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so he commits. It's a good thing that he put his absolute 0 out though, because he would have gotten destroyed.
Yeah, this would have been bad.
Okay.
Get some damage in.
Yeah, this was smart. So you didn't pop, which is the correct thing to do. And then you drew. Oh my god! That happened so fast. I didn't even get to see it.
Yeah, you didn't even get to see it because you had the fast forward on.
Well, okay. Well, you summoned Shura, summoned Bora, summoned Gale, and that was literally just game, just like that. And you also had Sirocco and Value Engrave. It looks like.
Yeah, and I made an armor master or arm wing.
Arm wing. Okay. All right. So he gets to go first. I do see a frog finally.
This is like what my third game. My third game going second because I went second both times my first set. I didn't go first this set either. All right, he goes draw pass. I'm like, all right, well, if you want to draw pass, let me see what you draw pass him with.
Right. So you got rid of Gores. So you're leaving 2 of the stronger cards in his hand and saying, I can deal with these. I don't want to deal with Gores. Now that's interesting.
My strategy here is that once Gores is gone, he doesn't really have much defense if he ends up going set bottomless.
Uh-huh.
So he goes set bottomless. So I was like, okay, I think he's going to summon Stratos. And I think what my strategy was is that I was going to summon Bora. He's going to bottomless it. I'm going to let it happen, and then I'm going to sure attack over a not sure attack over a Stratos. I think I was doing something with this Book of Moon. Let me see how it plays out because I don't remember exactly
Okay, I do not agree with returning Gores in this situation. I think that it is imperative that you return either Stratos or Treeborn Frog here because Gores is the card that you could play around the most.
Yeah.
Gores can only be dropped with your permission. That is something that I want everyone to just take away from. Like, if you take nothing else away from this video, right? Just know that when you see Gores in your opponent's hand, unless you feel like you really need to attack for some reason, you really can just choose when the Gores gets dropped. It can't be dropped without your permission. There's just no way to get it out without you doing something. So in this hand, he has these two very proactive cards. Like, both of these cards are very. Stratos is the main one, but both of these cards are proactive. Now, you do have Royal Oppression, but it doesn't do anything to Treeborn Frog. And he has Bottomless to deal with, like, if you try to drop short, so you have to drop Bora as bait first, and there's like a whole complicated thing going on here, which is
Right.
I do want to see how this plays out, but let's see how this goes. So obviously Stratos, because why not?
He attacks.
Yep. So he bottomlesses that instantly. So now you have Shore and Book, which is pretty good, because that gets you another Blackwing out the deck, and you have Oppression, so you really don't need Book of Moon, and you also have Torrential if things get like out of hand. So right here, you're going to take a number 18. Okay, Stratos is getting a little crazy, and you're like, all right, I want to stop the bleeding, and I also want to deal. I want to deal some. Oh, you go for Gale here. So how do I feel about that? So you know his hand, you know most of his hand, and you saw Soul Exchange. You know that he also has a Malicious Edge in hand. So right here, I might have just gotten my value on and just like attack with that, just because like I kind of want Gale as a resource for later on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, because Soul Exchange, so he can do Soul Exchange and Malicious Edge, obviously.
Oh, I actually asked him because I didn't actually understand the ruling.
Oh, you said, does anyone know if this works correctly? He said, I do. The wording on Edge is strictly for this. I guess the tributing is a cost. So I have one monster all the way up till then. And then Ronak says you only stop having a monster after it's already summoned, which is correct. So like when he plays Soul Exchange, you still have an Armor Master on the field. And the condition is met for this guy to be summoned because you control a monster. So
right.
you only stop controlling a monster when this guy is actually on the field, which is what he's saying. I understand this perfectly here.
Okay.
So okay, this is the situation we're in now. So he's used the Soul Exchange and the Malicious Edge, which is good. So that's some of the aggression gone. You have Oppression to deal with anything else he tries to do. You know he has Poly in his hand. You saw it already.
Yeah, his hand is just like special summon deck right
and
now.
Treeborn Frog,
So
which is kind of awkward against this specifically. So
that's why he hasn't said it. Yeah.
Yep. So you're in a very strong position, and he doesn't know about the Oppression yet. And you're like, I'm not holding cards in my hand because I don't think that me holding a Book of Moon is going to be the reason I win this game. You have to have the heavy. And if you don't have it, you probably just lose. So here's where the just lose is about to come in. Yep. Going to pay 8 because people said this card's bad, which is a rant. I'm going to pay this.
Yeah,
8.
I didn't know what he was going to try to make, but I wasn't here for it.
So now he's forced to set the Treeborn Frog because life is getting really low to the point where if you have a Kalute, he actually just dies because it'll be 3,200 over his 31. So he sets it, but he also happened to draw Mirror Force, which is really good. Okay, this is interesting. So you go Summon Blizzard, no effect. And you're attacking with Shura, which I assume you thought, okay, it's a Treeborn Frog set.
Mm-hmm.
So you were going for game because you're like, I'm going to attack. I'm going to get a Kalute out the deck. I'm going to attack for 13 and 14, and I'm going to Kalute and kill him.
Yes.
And I am not mad at that at all. He happened to draw the one card that stops that, basically. I should say not the one card that stops it, because he could like a Book of Moon will stop him from dying.
Book of Moon, Torrential, whatever.
It wouldn't help him if he drew a Book of Moon, really, because you would still have so much field presence, and whatever he booked would still just be there. But this card actually neutralizes this entire thing. So that was the worst thing for you to possibly run into there. It'd be like that sometimes. I think that you still did the right thing. Like, you just went for game. You know his hand's weak. You know he doesn't have Gores because you returned it in the beginning of the game. And unless he literally redrew it, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to kill you. So you're like, I'm going to pay 8 again. He gets you to pay 8. Yeah, this is
Book
funny.
that shit down.
Yeah, I think.
And we know from our fucking episode with with Dark Heroes
where I lost
that
my shit.
yeah, he doesn't have his attack anymore, but that doesn't matter because his defense is 0.
Yep. Okay, that was a good draw. So Sphere of Chaos with the Soul Exchange. And this is a machine, so he gets the contact on you too. Wow.
Yeah.
This was-
That was incredible. I was just like, damn, a machine. But then, you know, the Kalut, it's gonna Wall Street bail us out from this.
Yep.
And then I think I just draw a no, I don't draw a monster. It's so unfortunate. This is an interesting thing. I remember this. I remember this situation.
Okay, I only see one water monster.
Yeah, he's gonna make Gaia, is what happens after I take away his water.
Oh, he summoned the monster. See, he had me for a second, and then he summoned the monster.
Yeah, I mean, when he summoned a monster, I was like, damn, that's the biggest throw. So I go deep prison here because I want any monster I draw to be lethal.
Yeah.
And not have to beat over anything.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he was at 900.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a Bora would not kill him there, right? So you're like, I don't want to play this game any longer. I want to deprison this and say my deck is going to draw a monster that's not Sirocco. I'm just going to win, and that's exactly what happened. You drew the best.
Yeah, because Sirocco doesn't matter there either as well because he's obviously going to bounce it back to his hand, likely.
He might. That's the thing. He might also leave it out because of how low he is. Where like, if he doesn't have a trap to set, I think he just has to leave it out and be like, well,
yeah, that makes sense.
Because then it makes it where he dies to Bora, and I guess
Blizzard. Yeah.
Well, Blizzard's killing him no matter what he does. So I'm trying to think, is it correct? Is it correct to leave it out or to bounce it? So Sirocco kills him if he leaves it out. So maybe bouncing it. The only thing that doesn't kill him, it sounds like, is Bora. If you draw Shura, he dies. If you draw Blizzard, he dies. Oh, Kalut also doesn't kill him there if he leaves it out. So it's like a mixed bag of what you want to say. You know, he could look at the graveyard and say, okay.
I guess technically he's adding more outs if he leaves it out because all those cards you just named still kill him.
Yep.
We've already seen 2 Kaluts. A Gale is out of there. Shora's still in there. Double Bora's banished.
There's 3 Siroccos in the deck, which I would be very afraid because that just kills him. He's at 900, so a Sirocco off the top. Yeah, but anyway, we don't need to harp on this any longer. It's not really relevant. All right, on to round 3. So you ended up. Was this 2-0? I'm sorry. Did I not pay attention?
This is 2-0, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's pretty damn good. So you have to be feeling really good about yourself right there. You're like, all right, I just beat like one of the, a bracket demon basically.
Yeah, I mean, Rognak's really good at the game, even when he's playing like a little bit of a meme or frog
Yeah,
list.
that's definitely a meme list, no question. Okay, so you lost a die roll again.
Yep.
And this time you're going
I don't win
against
die
our
rolls.
boy. You're going against our teammate, basically. And he's playing Glabbies, which is terrible to lose the die roll, but you're playing Black Wings, and I just think that this matchup is very in the favor of Black Wings. Now, I will say this is a very fucking anti-Black Wing hand. Okay? This is like...
He stops everything. He stops Icarus. He stops traps.
Yeah, this is a very... Oh my god, not summon set 5.
Yep.
Oh, your guy dies, too. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, okay. You go... okay. You go attack. He goes Wabaku. He goes tag off a Murmillo Pop. You go book it. And you're like, I'm going to Icarus, I guess? Right. He goes traps the man. This game got out of hand.
Yeah, I was just like, I just kind of want the Stardust gone, but like Trap Stun also has to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this got out of hand. That game was 1 turn. He drew a perfect hand against you and went first. That was insane. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually what I said to him after the set. I was just like, it's a damn shame that you like card for card countered every single.
You literally heavy Starlight Road. Icarus, I have Trap Stun. Attack, Wabaku. Like everything that could go wrong just went wrong in that game. You lost all of your cards in basically 1 turn. It was real bad. But now you get to go first, and you have now. It looks like you just win because unless he again, Heavy Storm is the barrier of entry to play this game right now. You're like, you need Heavy Storm to play.
I'm playing against GBs. He better draw the Heavy Storm, otherwise he's having a bad time.
Yep, I agree. So he does the exact same thing, but he just puts his face down. He's lucky that you did not have Icarus attack here because...
Oh, that would have been ruinous.
Trap hole. Okay, so you attack. He goes to prison. Okay, so He goes, summon Darius. You're like, absolutely not. And you also have Book of Moon even if he has Trap Stun, which is really good. All right, so you guys are playing this little...
Yeah, this little like leapfrog game. And I'm totally fine if he ends up attacking over this with anything, because skill drain is going to keep me in the game. He's not going to be able to like make guys if like things get really bad.
Did he just draw the best possible thing he could draw?
Yes, he did. He drew a bestiary.
Oh my god. This was so fucking perfect right here.
And then trap stuns me.
Oh my god.
So like I'm like, damn, I lost.
Yeah, I think you lost too. I'm actually surprised that you're going to win, but it looks like a blizzard gets you out of this. Okay, no, you don't even rip a blizzard.
No, I draw dead, but I said it, and he's afraid of Mirror Force, so he just goes attack.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, yes. Starlight Road, Dark Arm, get rid of your field.
Okay, so Dark Arm was with you all day. Because
Dark Arm was giving me the Wall Street bailouts. I'm like, fuck this. I don't even care. I want to do 28. Get you out of here. Dust that shit.
Are you out of shells?
I am out of shells.
Okay. All right. So Dark Arm pulled it the fuck out. He drew. It's crazy. He has Starlight Road for your Icarus again, and that came off the top. So it's just that was wild to watch.
That was a wild game.
So let's see. Game 3, he gets to go first again. You're probably scared shitless. Like, all right, please God, don't do what you.
Because this hand does nothing against established GBs, which is fucking scary.
Yes. But you know what his hand can't deal with? Summon Sirocco attack.
Right.
All right.
I end up opting to do this because I want to make sure that my summon Sirocco fully goes through, guaranteed. Ooh. And then he summoned his bestiary. I think this was a huge misplay. I think if he was going to summon anything, he should have summoned Darius, because Bottomless is like such a relevant card. Like,
yeah, I wonder why he summoned it instead of, because like, okay, I think that in theory he doesn't have Trap Stun set. Yeah, he does not have Trap Stun set. So in theory, he goes summon bestiary, attack, tag out for bestiary, pop 1, then contact, pop 2 more. But like that is really wishful thinking without Trap Stun or Solemn, right? Like that is assuming so much. Where if he goes set it, he could go, okay, do I want to play around Starlight Road? Because he could just go summon Jaizaris and pop 1. He could say you don't have Starlight Road and pop 2. But summoning this, I think, is wild.
Yeah, I think that single-handedly lost them the game.
And now you don't have to be afraid of a lot of things anymore, too. Like all of the tagging out, you don't really care anymore.
Yeah, that Prism in his hand, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's actually just I mean, he can send Laquari, but what good does that do you?
Yeah, that's not going to win you the game, my guy.
He has to commit hard to the field. Now he's hoping you have Icarus attack right here. And you're just like, I'm just going to go Kalut and Solemn, which Kalut and Solemn. So you wait until you drew the Dust Tornado this. Okay, that's interesting. Only because he's on Wabaku, I would have probably did this.
Yeah, I mean, doing it in end phase definitely would have been way more correct for sure.
Yeah, just a small misplay right there, just because your opponent's on Wabaku. But okay, so you dust, nothing goes wrong with that, and then you get the attack. So now he's in the worst spot possible, right? He's playing Glad Beast with no Bestiary. He's on the back foot because you have a huge monster, because for some reason Black Wings just have a normal summon 2000. You have plenty of defense, and like I don't really know how he could possibly get out of this. Like I don't. And then
MSD off the top,
and
baby.
It's like it's completely unnecessary. But you did draw, and then he just scoops. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you destroyed him this game. But really, he kind of destroyed himself by exposing that Bestiary when I don't think his hand could afford Bottomless. Like if you look at his hand, he already had 1 Prisma, and I think that in order for him to win this game, he's gonna have to draw a Test Tiger at some point. I assume he plays Test Tiger.
If you're playing Prisma, you definitely play Test Tiger.
Yeah, I'm just because we didn't see it in any of the games, but I assume he plays Test Tiger, and I think that your hand just cannot afford getting Bottomless. And he had other options. It wasn't like you put him in a position turn 1 where he had to go like summon Bestiary to win, right? Like that, because so much has to go right. You have to be able to go summon it. I assume you're going to attack with it, which means it doesn't get deep prison, it doesn't get Bottomless. Then you're going to tag out it first. and then tag out the Laquaria to bring back the Bestiari that you just put back in your deck to pop a back row, then it maybe contact. But like that's just assuming your opponent has absolutely nothing, which is so insane to me. So I think that
in Blackwings especially, because Blackwings is not really a deck that just sets 3 and has nothing.
Yeah, this is a throw in my opinion. I think this was a throw. And then you just won really easy after that. Like I don't think his hand was like absurd, but I think he could have played it better.
Yeah,
I think even like you said, summoning Darius is fine.
Once Blackwings has an established back row with a summon Sirocco, it's really hard to lose this matchup because they just cannot deal with Sirocco at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got hard counter game 1, but then games 2 and 3 you pulled it out with the help of Dark Arm, and just I genuinely think that game wasn't very well played. Oh my god, you lost every die roll.
I went second every set.
You lost every die roll. Okay. All right. So your hand is boom, boom. All right. Now you don't have the best Blackwing to summon yet, but we didn't see your 6 card yet. And your opponent opens up what I have to imagine
the best opening,
absolute best hand in his entire deck. Like I have to imagine that 1-for-1 Dandy when you're playing Substitute, because this is actually going to be plus advantage, right? Like he's going to end up with 7 cards on turn 1 as opposed to 6. And also his deck is going to be thinned out. This is insane.
Yeah, this was broken.
This is insane. Yeah, he has
7
I
think
cards.
He's running a smaller frog package because he didn't send because he could have gone like normal swap with his actual normal summon and dump another one and then bounce the swap back again. Oh, the swap's in his hand.
Yeah. Look, I was about to say I was letting you finish, but he actually drew all of the other frogs.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
What he could have done differently is, when he gets the swaps on the field, he could bounce, swap the hand, summon a Treeborn out, so that way you have both Treeborns in rotation in the like in the grave. Instead of having this Treeborn in hand, like this could just be another swap frog.
Yeah, that's true. He could have 3 swaps in his hand.
3 swaps in his hand as opposed to Treeborn. I don't really care, to be honest. Like I'm not really critiquing this, but that's like the only thing that I might have done differently is like not have this tree, because I don't really know why I would want Treeborn in my grave or in my hand rather, when it could just be in grave, especially game 1 against Blackwings. Like, you know, there's no real reason to have this in your hand over a swap frog. I'm trying to think of a reason, but like there's really nothing I can think about. So there's no main deck Mind Crush that would take like all 3 of these or anything like that.
It's funny, I knew he was playing plant frogs and then he opened up absolutely silly as well, which is just funny.
Okay, so you now do the Luke Feeney and you're like, I'm going to summon set 5. And they're good. They're good ones. These are some good ones. They're not the best against the dupe block, but if you play it right, it's pretty decent.
Yep.
All right, so does shoot, take away the Caius. I think that's pretty huge because that would just, I mean, Caius, you have Icarus to chain to it, but I think that he would go for Whirlwind anyway, which is annoying. So taking away his only way to deal with Whirlwind is huge right here, because that's essentially going to be your win condition.
That's exactly how I identified it, because I was just like, all right, well, he opened what you said, which I also agree with. Possibly his best opening in his entire deck. The only thing that could have went better for him is that he goes normal summon Lone Fire, make Titanial as well.
Yeah, like he just absolutely God hands you.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, I need Whirlwind to stay around for literally as long as possible. And I also have an out to attribute summon Titanial if he like ends up getting it on the field, because I can make it Taster.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So this is a good position for you and for him, honestly. So he decides, I'm not going to bring back Treeborn Frog. I'm just going to set Dandelion with the intent to, I assume, next turn he's going to tribute for Titanial and then have tokens. That way you can't Icarus attack him anymore.
Yeah.
So right here you're thinking, you're like, all right, pass. And he's going to go for, I assume he was going to go for the play right here. So you're like, okay, when Treeborn activates, I'm going to chain Icarus attack and target both dupe frogs, so they both miss timing. So now that's dealt with. You're done with that. That part of your life is over. And here's where things get a bit interesting, right? So he has the play that I was saying. He goes summon Titanial, get the 2 tokens, which is still a very strong position for him.
Yep.
Attack you directly. You have nothing for it. The Whirlwind is still there. So there are so many ways to deal with this field. Like you could go summon Blizzard, bring back Thing, make Catastrophe, get a search for value. You could go summon Shura, search for Kalut, attack over her, then attack a token. There's like so many things you could do. And your back rows are also the prison style row and an Icarus attack. So like you have so much going.
I have the world. I really do
Yeah.
have the world in this situation because I
Yeah.
feel like his hand's been pretty good for the most part, but with Whirlwind's just literally bringing it back for me.
Yeah. And I feel like now, so like now I don't think the game is losable anymore. Like where it's at right now, because you know his hand because of trap that shoot. So you know that
Don't worry. He's going to try to find a way to win this game. It may not be through legal means.
Okay.
Here it comes.
He goes, all right, summon, synchro, make Black Rose, which is crazy, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. His hand.
I need you to look at the chat.
Okay, so
he said Dandy 2.
Dandy 2, Rose 1. And then you go start the row, he goes can't. So now he's just trying to GU. You said Dandy is mandatory. Dandy is Chainlink 1 always. You cannot order Chainlinks with Dandy. Cannot call Judge. Type in Discord, but Dandy is Chainlink 1 trust. So what I love is that you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Since 2020. It's when you started. And in this amount of time, you've become a lot better, especially with rulings. And this is something that I don't think this person was like trying to hard cheat you because one, there's like 4 people watching and this is also being live streamed at the time. I think that they genuinely just thought that this is how things work because this is how it works in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like this is how you can order your chain links in modern Yu-Gi-Oh to be exactly the way he said it, but in Edison format you cannot do that. And it's really important that you know the rules of Edison format because people will soft cheat you, essentially is what I would call this, where they tell you something that's just not true. Whether they know that or not, it still would suck because that would essentially be you being fed misinformation. And that is one, it's illegal to do that, to like tell somebody something that's just not true. If you know that it's not true, but that's also intentional and that would be cheating at that point. So yeah, anyways, this does not resolve. And the game is super over now. Like it was already over. I don't think that there was anything he could have drawn to get out of the situation that you have him in, because like best case would have been like, oh, you drew Caius and then he went tribute something for Caius and banished, I guess, Shura, and then you have like, you know, Blizzard with the Kalut's engraved and you stuff the Whirlwind up and he's going to lose all the same. But like this play makes it even worse, obviously. And then you draw a Whirlwind, which is dead. Not the tokens just literally disappearing off the screen.
Yeah, they got Thanos snapped out of existence.
They literally did that, like all of them.
Yeah, okay. So I just keep attacking with Shura because I'm just like, all right, well, I actually don't need to summon anything. I'm just getting monsters for free.
Yeah, this is
like,
so bad. Look how many cards you have. You have 11 cards to your opponent's 4.
I did note that when I was playing. I did say that to myself. I'm like, I have like plus like fucking 10 on him, plus 5.
Yeah, this got really, really bad.
Yep, and he keeps setting things. This is Cope, and then this is me going for just big damage.
Yep, because he's at 41, so theoretically this is just game. This is 2750.
I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. That Wing Blast serves you no favors.
That's rough. I for sure would not have let this go through.
Yeah, that should have been done. That shouldn't have done like half of your life in one attack.
Okay, right, well,
all monster hand. I wasn't happy to see this.
I would not be happy to see this either. Even though I will say Black Wings is one of the decks that can play with an all monster hand better than others, especially when 2 of them are these.
Yep.
Because this is a combo. And then like, you know, Blizzards, I'm not really mad to see Blizzards as long as I see other Black Wings, which you have plenty of. This is scary.
When he did this, I was just like, Jesus Christ.
So I would just be like, oh, I lost. Because
that's what I thought.
Yeah, this is real bad. Especially if he sets that Mirror Force, because then you can't top deck like a Dino or a Cyber Dragon. Okay, so I understand why he didn't set Mirror Force, because it plays an Icarus attack.
Yep.
What's so interesting though is that 90% of Blackwing players are going to side in monsters that all deal with Consecrated, Cyber Dragons, Fossil Dinos, sometimes Thunder Kings or whatever. But they pretty much, there's Snowman Eaters. There's a lot of things that deal with this. I would be afraid of Fossil and Cyber Dragon particularly, just going like this, but I guess you just have to. But it is 2 Fossil usually and 2 Cyber Dragons usually, opposed to 3 Icarus attacks. So like, I don't know.
It's funny.
It's
I don't
complicated.
remember exactly what it was. I don't even think I sided any of those, if I'm being so real. I really wish Dueling Book showed siding, because I don't think I sided a single one of those cards. And now this is fucked up.
Yeah,
This is
bad.
the fucking end days clock, and I just keep drawing monsters. I'm like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, this is
He
bad.
like keeps summoning monsters. Like, can I draw an Icarus attack? And then look at this little Fossil. I did side a Fossil.
Oh,
This
so
Fossil is actually.
you lied to me.
I did lie to you.
And this Fossil is absurd right here.
It is, because we're gonna set this bad boy.
And if your opponent doesn't have Caius, they can't summon Caius, actually.
Yeah, they can't summon Caius. I'm actually insulated against this.
Yeah, your opponent does have Caius, but they can't bring it out because of this fucking thing. So, your whole field?
Goodbye, field.
Goodbye, field. So, you just went 1 for 3. And now, you guys have the exact same number of cards.
Look at that.
Yo, Dino was absurd.
Dino was absurd. I lied to you. My bad. I didn't mean to lie to you.
You lied to me hard, too. That was a hard lie. All right, so what did he leave? Okay, Josh Tree Worm Frog with 2 debris in hand, which is pretty bad. But he has the best combo breaker ever. Brain Control Caius.
Yep.
Vanity's Fiend, okay. So let's see. You go Bora attack. The turn when you set Sirocco, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have set this Bora just because you had multiple of these in hand. And I kind of like this better, but you set this, which whatever. So okay, so before you end your turn, he decides I'm just going to econ your thing in defense mode right now.
Yep.
And I think he could have waited to draw for turn
and then choose to do it. Yeah.
And then choose to do it based on like what he drew and stuff, and then you could just do it, because I don't think it changes much to do it on the end phase like that. But whatever.
Not even specifically with Solemn either. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm up a game. He doesn't have any debris targets.
Yeah,
this is getting Solemn.
This is his normal summon. I mean, this card is so outrageously broken against frogs because it basically says skip your turn.
Yep.
Like, they don't have an extender like Miracle Fusion, which this build is not playing at all. This is a very heavy normal summon build. I don't really know if there are any extenders. This seems like a 1 play per turn build, and I'm not a big fan of those builds. But like, I don't really see how this deck can make more than 1 play per turn outside of 1 for 1, which is a 1 of, so it's not really reliable.
And 1 for 1 doesn't really extend; it just like does setup.
Yeah. So in this situation, this Solemn is just everything. I mean, this could have been pulling a rug; it'd have been the exact same thing, but it's Solemn, so you lose half your life for the same exact effect. Sets 2 back row, and the question is always like, do I believe you? Because you're playing a Treeborn Frog deck, and like 2 back rows are like, oh, they're real too, but like 2 back rows a lot. So you're like special summon Black Rose. Oh, this is nasty.
I don't know why he did not book a Moon this Gale.
He didn't see this coming. I'm telling you, there's no way he thought that you were just gonna go, I'm blatantly Black Rosing you right here. Like, I'm telling you, heart to heart, this is broken because you haven't used your normal summon and you have deck heavy. So like, everything about this is super not okay.
Yeah. When I saw that I was gonna Black Rose him, I was like, all right, well, if he stops the Gale, I'm in a really bad position, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is really bad for him.
I just feel like the charity was given to me that he didn't stop the Gale, and then this was the play around Gores.
Yep. So right here, you could choose to attack for, because I assume you're going to make Armed Wing, and there's no reason to make Arm Wing if you're going to go deck Devi to Arm Wing, because if he gets a 2300 token, it's really hard to deal with that if you plan to deck Devi him, because then he's going to have Gores, and the Arm Wing token would be fucking huge. So you attack for 13 here. Just in case he does have Gores, it's like, okay, when I deck dev you, at least a token will die, and hopefully some of your hand. No Gores in sight, so you get the best of both worlds. You just like played around it, and there's no Gores, and he drops a Brain Control.
Yep.
Oh, this is so good.
It's so juicy.
You're very low in life, so Brain Control is one of the cards that you usually would have to fear for in this situation. But now it's being used in like the worst case scenario, and it's going to take so much of his hand. I mean, this is just game actually, right? Yeah, I mean, that's just game. Like,
this is a +2. This is a +2 interaction. He lost 4 cards for my 2.
Yeah. What happened here though? So, oh, he went to main phase without even using Treeborn Frog because he was playing around Icarus attack.
Yep.
So last turn, instead of using Treeborn Frog, which I agree with, like if you're just going to go brain control and try to go for game, you're like, I'm not bringing back Treeborn. I don't want to play an Icarus, but it ends up being the worst case scenario, deck devastation virus. And I mean, I think you can read the deck devastation virus a bit only because you went Gale. I mean, you went Blizzard, bring back this, and like attack with this, and then you synchroed. I think if you had Icarus attack, you could just safely leave up both monsters and set Icarus attack, right? Like,
yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think that if you had Icarus attack, you just go summon, attack. This guy's in defense mode. Set Icarus pass instead of synchroing your cards into a monster.
I guess that play is also weak against brain control though, right? Because he has no field at that point. So I would have to like Icarus my own cards, which sounds kind of bad.
Yeah, but he's playing like you have Icarus attack the way he didn't bring back Treeborn Frog.
Yeah, so I think his logic for playing around Icarus probably was faulty if he wasn't if he saw the ending field that I had.
I think if you have Icarus attack, you're not consolidating into a 2300 vanilla monster essentially with Icarus attack set because that just doesn't. You don't even have a value in a grave.
Yeah.
So like, what is the plan? Like, why wouldn't you just bring the Blizzard, summon Blizzard, bring back Bora, attack for 13, set Icarus, pass? No matter what you do, it's probably going to require 2 cards. Now, granted, yes, if you go brain control, take my Bora, attack with it, and then like, okay, I can collude that, or I can just let it go and I still live, and then you have to decide what you're going to do with
yeah, because then they take my Blizzard, they go summon something, and I go Icarus that. Yeah.
Right. So it's really awkward. I think once you consolidate it to this guy, I'm like, oh fuck. Like
I'm about to get deck devied for 3.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, with this hand, there's not really much that could have happened with that. I think that the only thing that could have possibly happened is they had to be like next level thinking and then just go bring back Treeborn Frog, anything. And you're like, no. And then they go enter main phase, tribute for Vanity's Fiend with priority. So then like, because you can do that before you can deck that Treeborn Frog away, they can go tribute for Vanity's Fiend with priority.
Yeah.
And then,
but I had collude at that point anyway, so yes, it was already covered.
So fucking ignorant. Like there was no, but that was like the only shot to do like, oh, if I think you're on deck devy here, my hand fucking blows against that.
Yeah.
But there was no win con here. I mean, you're just doing the absolute most. And here you summon a second Blizzard, and you could make Goyo here, but you opt to make Armwing because, well, I guess you don't really have to play around brain control anymore, but you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to, he has Vanity's Fiend in
but
hand.
Econ is the,
yep. Econ will kill you here, and you already saw an Econ, so.
Yep.
Draw a quick draw, so the turn's been skipped. And this is damaged up. So this was the tournament. So congrats on winning this, and now you reign this week for the BeastMode Circuit Series. I think more people should play in these tournaments. These are really, really good practice against really good players. A lot of big names playing these things, and yeah, they're just, for bragging rights. Your deck list gets posted on the Discord server. There's going to be some kind of Hall of Fame or some kind of big playoff at some point, I think he mentioned. But these are weekly. This one took place on Saturday around 6 p.m. Eastern time. They used to take place on Friday nights, but I think they might be doing the Saturday shuffle now. So if you haven't already, join BeastMode's Discord server. And is there anything you want to say, Stang0, before we get out of here?
No, this was just, it was a fun event to play in. I'm glad that I got my first solo win of a decently stacked event, I it's funny, I was telling a true hero, I was telling Cairo, I was like the competitor in my heart because of where I've been with Smash. I felt like I was being a little too hard on my win here.
Yeah.
I when I initially won, I was like kind of discrediting it. I was kind of like, yeah, this was like nothing to me. Like I could have done, so much better as far as like, winning something bigger. But I kind of reframed it in the scope of where I'm at in Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of like how long I've been playing. And like I allowed myself to, feel a little bit more of the joy of winning an event. So it's cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you also. We've been doing the Master and the Pupil all year, and you've been slowly improving as a player, and that is amazing. Actually, I won't even say slowly improving. You've just been improving at a really decent pace because in one of these matches, somebody tried to tell you something that just wasn't true, and you were quick to be like, "That's just not how that works." And that's a big part. Like technical play is one thing. No one plays perfectly. Let's be clear. Like I'm not perfect. There's no play. I don't care who's ranked number one in Edison and all that stuff. Like no one plays perfect. We all misplay. And that's kind of why it's fun because we're all trying to get better and better. But you've gotten significantly better in a short amount of time. And for you to have won this tournament with such a stacked, bracket of people in it is really, really cool. And it also shows that Black Wings are still just ridiculous because, to be quite honest, a lot of these wins were blatantly just free. Like no discredit to you, but they were just blatantly fucking free because Whirlwind or Dark Armed, and those cards in this deck are just bonkers. Like they invalidate people's skill a lot of the time. Like, oh, you're really good at the game. I don't really care because I have fucking Whirlwind up. Or I don't really care because I have Dark Arm. And that's part of the reason why I think the deck is the best deck is because it has blatantly free wins, which I don't think other decks have the level of free wins that this deck has. Like it's really ignorant when your opponent you can't even do anything. You're just like, oh, I have Whirlwind.
It's like mainly OTK decks are probably like free wins. Like, you have Vayu, if they can just, Diva Hero, because they have the Diva Hero
they
OTK.
have to draw a very specific way to get their free wins, whereas Black Wings, it's just kind of built into your deck. Like Blizzard is an outrageous card. Kalute is an outrageous card. Sirocco to some degree is an outrageous card. Like it soloed the Glad Beast. Like you just were like, summon Sirocco, and it never left the field.
Yeah.
Like if you watch that, it never left the field. That Sirocco that got summoned on turn 1 was there for the rest of the game. So it's just really crazy how this deck has so many powerful cards, and then it can side really powerful cards like Faust Niner that took away 3 of his cards, which you actually did side multiple of this apparently. But yeah, this was a good showing for Black Wings and for you, and again, proud of you. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.